So here we come together once again. Yeah, we come together. We're coming and we run. Oh. In the streets of the city, spirit starts to grow. 20,000 people share a common goal. Oh, we come together at the same time and place. Every one of us has a challenge he must face, and we will run in solidarity. The race will be won by individuality. Yeah, we will run in all our diversity.
And a warm welcome to the NutraSweet 1993 London Marathon. A journey of 26 miles, 385 yards, finishing on Westminster Bridge. First of the elite women's race, Liz McColgan is the British number one, with Lisa Ondieki of Australia the main opposition. The starter, Saranov, finds himself just back from his own endurance test in the polar region. And as they get underway, Liz McColgan and Lisa Ondieki move straight into the lead, followed by Katrin Dora, last year's winner and defending champion. Last year's second placer, Renata Kukovska, and last year's third placer, the Briton Andrea Wallace, in the black vest there, right behind Liz McColgan. They're away very quickly on what is a very inviting start, gently downhill for the first 6 to 7 miles. Ondieki striding out in front, just ahead of McColgan and Wallace, with Dora and Kukovska tucked in behind. We go across now to the start of the men's wheelchair race, where Lord Snowdon, the president of the Snowdon Award Scheme, is the starter. The British Sports Association for the Disabled have put forward some tremendous fields, with both men's and women's defending champions in the races. Tani Gray for the women and Daniel Wesley from Canada, favourite to win today's men's race. Meanwhile, back with the leading women, Ondieki, McColgan and Wallace have put on a tremendous pace as they approach the 2-mile marker. Just 4 women to go in this year's women's wheelchair race. The German girl will be the front runner, 12th fastest on paper, but Tani Gray will be in there, and Rose Hill from Milton Keynes should be up in front. 15:56 for the first 3 miles, and that's an incredibly fast start. Lisa Ondieki is certainly stretching them out. They're all keen to get a drink on board. Very important at this stage. Andrea Wallace in third place here, and that's a little ambitious for her. Meanwhile, at the elite men's start, they're waiting for the Greenwich time signal to get them on their way. Number 59 is Eamon Martin in his first ever marathon. Number 2 is Salah from Djibouti, the second fastest man in history and the fastest in this field. As always with a mass start, it's a bit of a struggle to get away, people starting off too quickly. Meanwhile, on the other side of Blackheath at Greenwich Park, the masses are slowly emerging. The fun runners, the fundraisers, the club runners. These are the shots that fill the screens at all fun runs, half marathons and 10,000 metre runs. The shots that inspire those watching from their armchairs to take part next year. And isn't that what the London Marathon is all about? The leader and pacemaker here is Taradi from Great Britain. With him, Osato of Japan, Costella of Australia, the Korean Bayek, Nali, third last year from Tanzania, and his countryman Shahanga. And while they're pushing it in front, they're still unravelling and pouring out of Greenwich Park. Katrin Dora, last year's winner, who ran a marvellous race to come 5th in Barcelona. Very experienced with 15 victories in 24 marathons. Obviously desperately keen to get a drink on board. Liz McColgan has now taken over the lead as they approach the Cutty Sark between miles 6 and 7. George Van Dam of Belgium has already broken away in the men's wheelchair race as he comes up to 6¼ miles. And amongst that group is second place Ivan Newman of England, and a previous English winner. In 4th place now, David Holding. It's Osato leading with O'Reilly, and on the wide outside, number 18, Steve Brace, a very solid and consistent runner, best Briton in the Olympic marathon. As they approach Cutty Sark, O'Reilly is leading with Bettiol right behind him, and Eamon Martin right with them too in 5th place and going well in his first marathon. But it's of course in the later stages that he'll be really tested. O'Reilly's doing a great job as pacemaker as they go through mile 6 with the pace on about 2 hours 8 minutes, and that's a good time. As you can see, they're all enjoying themselves. And there's a familiar sight, the running policeman from Essex. And we saw these guys too last year, the Fighting Rhinos. How some of them keep going in those hot costumes is a mystery, isn't it? Mr. Blobby still going strong, and he's been waving all the way around so far, but he's still got a long way to go. And there's another familiar sight from previous marathons, the juggler. All the fun runners enjoying the support of the crowd and each other as they pass the Cutty Sark. A long shot of the Isle of Dogs. Liz McColgan, Onda Eke and Wallace are away from the rest now as Onda Eke puts on a spurt. Dora, the defending champion, has obviously settled for a more even pace. Liz McColgan is leading the chasing pack now. As Onda Eke broke away, Liz was unhappy with the pace. Meanwhile, on Tower Bridge at mile 12, the leading contenders in the men's wheelchair race, with Van Dam still out in front. As the elite women cross Tower Bridge, Liz McColgan is having to chase Onda Iki, and that's a frustrating gap for Liz, though the pace has slowed slightly. But these two appear to have broken well away. We're looking for the chasing group led by Dora. Just how far behind are they? 3 seconds is the gap between Onda Iki and McColgan, but Katrin Dora is settling for the even pace, looking at her watch all the time. And she's now taken Andrea Wallace. For a little distance, these leaders were going through at a world record pace. And we can see here that the gap between first and second has suddenly widened. Here come the men, and as you can see, Eamon Martin has moved up to 4th place. And let's have a look at those 30,000 runners. Well, here's Liz McColgan just approaching the halfway point. It'll be interesting to see her halfway time, as this is much faster than she's run before. Yes, and that's 3 minutes faster. We'll have to see if she can keep that pace going, but it's a very uneven pace, which is a very uneconomical way to run a race. And she's still not closing the gap. That's Garcia, number 4, leading the men at mile 12. The Korean Baek second. Emma Martin in 4th place with Sala 5th. The pacemakers have done a good job, and they're now down to this leading group of 5 or 6, including Eamon Martin in his debut marathon. So he's the British record holder at 10,000 metres, and he knows he can run 20 miles. Let's have a look at some of the other 30,000 runners taking part in today's marathon.
Come on, lads, give us a smile on TV. So here we come together once again. Yeah, we come together. We're coming and we run. In the streets of the city, spirit starts to grow. 20,000 people share a common goal. Oh, we come together at the same time and place. Every one of us has a challenge he must face, and we will run in solidarity. The race will be won by individuality. Yeah, we will run in all our diversity. Yeah, together. Whoa. And we will run in solidarity. The race will be won by individuality. Yeah, we will run in all our diversity. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Back with the leading women, it seems that Onda Iki has decided that she's going to allow McColgan to catch her. Looking over her shoulder, almost jogging as she invites McColgan to come alongside for an extraordinary sight. The rivalry must be getting to them, but it's most unusual in a marathon suddenly to start jogging, and of course it leaves the door open for Dora to start closing. And they've just run a 6-minute mile, which has allowed Dora to close right up. And although McColgan had taken the lead, it's Dora that now looks the stronger. A good athlete, a good winner last year, and the winner of 15 marathons already out of 24. And on the Isle of Dogs, Liz McColgan looks as though she's beginning to suffer, as Dora shows the benefits of using an even pace. Eamon Martin is obviously running well and feeling good, although I doubt he intended being in the lead this early. And entering St Catherine Dock is Ivan Newman from Saffron Walden. His coach, Chris Hallam, is delighted with his progress. Back to the men's leaders, and Bettiol, the Italian, who was 5th in the Olympic Games, very experienced, is out in front, now trying to make a break and upset the field. Baek of Korea in 2nd place, always looking comfortable, and Eamon Martin, a good run in his first marathon. Bettiol now trying to take it on, taking Baek with him, and Martin tucked in behind. They've got the wind just blowing in their faces here. Martin has had a good run so far, and then we'll find out if he can last the distance. And we move on now to when the runners approached Tower Bridge for the second time. With the masses on top, crossing for the first time. It's Rico who's taken up the running with Martin with just 4 miles to go. Martin looks very strong here, as though he's prepared to take it on. But is that wise in his first marathon? We'll have to wait and see. Last of the stragglers start to come through. Up comes the carpet, and what a battering that's taken today. 30,000 pairs of running feet in just a few hours. The 2 leading women, Dora, then on to Iki, have opened what appears to be an unclosable gap. While on Westminster Bridge, wheelchair racer number 2 comes in for a well-deserved win. Looking down on Admiralty Arch. There are the leading women, Dora, Honda Iki, and the long way behind, Liz McColgan. Here come the two leading men through Admiralty Arch. Eamon Martin having now taken up the running with number 6 Rico, and they're now shoulder to shoulder as they make their way up the Mall. Bit of encouragement there from Marshall. Here we are approaching the finish under the shadow of Big Ben. Surely one of them has to make a break soon. But before we see the exciting finish, let's have a look at some of those other runners taking part today.
We're on at the minute. Come on, you guys!
The women's race proves to be a close thing as well between Dora and Onda Iki. With Liz McColgan obviously finding the going tough. Dora and Onda Iki still together, but we'll soon see one or the other trying for the break. Depends who's the stronger. And there's your answer. The reigning champion Dora takes up the running and immediately opens a gap that Onda Iki isn't going to close. Final kick for the reigning champion Dora, but nobody will catch her now. And it's through the finishing tape and into the arms of her coach. Onda Iki comes in second place. With a disappointed Liz McColgan, 2 minutes behind, in third position. And now let's take a look at that exciting finish. As the leading men come onto Westminster Bridge, it's Eamon Martin who takes and makes the break. Eamon Martin in his first ever marathon leads Rico in second place. I don't think Rico will catch him now, as Martin looks over his shoulder. What a debut marathon he's had. No one really thought he'd do it. Rico has to settle for second place, as Eamon Martin crosses the line in 2 hours, 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Martin receiving his medal, with number 25, Gadgis, running through into third.
And I actually felt very comfortable for the last 4 or 5 miles, but I could see it was between me and the other guy, and I knew that when it comes to a dash for the finish, there's no one in the world who could probably beat me, although I was a bit concerned whether I could actually pick my legs up and sprint at the end of a marathon.
You and the team were trying to break the speed marching record. Did you manage?
No, we didn't. We were just out.
Disappointed?
Very disappointed, but the lads gave a superb effort. They were really tried hard.
Well, you really did well, considering you had, what, 40 pounds on your back? How many bags of sugar is that?
I think
18.
About 18.
18 bags of sugar. Yeah. Well, no wonder.
Together once again, yeah, we come together. You're coming and we run. Oh. In the streets of the city, spirit starts to grow. When 1,000 people share a common goal. Oh, we come together at the same time and place. Every one of us has a challenge he must face, and we will